Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American, and YouTuber Ronin. The podcast in the smiling bag returns. Welcome to Live from Sparkwood and 21. This series chronicles the cult classic television series Twin Peaks, created by David Lynch and Mark Frost. Along on this odyssey with me, superfans, Last Call Tripicelli.
Hello.
Netters Network.
Good evening.
Band-Aged Boomer.
Hello. You could theoretically turn this into a podcast.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, maybe. If you were so inclined.
That is true. I mean, I hadn't thought about it before, but what we could do is if Deleted Scenes and I could find a good time every week, we could go back and take each episode and just do a conversation about it.
I was also
standalone video.
You can also edit what's there too.
Yeah, I suppose
so. May not be as smooth though, but yeah.
It's harder because it is a video commentary.
Trouble is, it is also him live reacting to these new episodes too. That's
true too. Yeah. That's true too. So, and that's the other thing. I want to give him time to digest it, and then maybe we revisit it and rethink some of the episodes.
Maybe sometime down the road.
Yeah.
Anyway, though, what was I going to say? I'm trying to think. Oh, this is his show. Never mind. Hey, Deleted Scenes, take it away.
Yes, indeed. What makes a podcast? What do you consider a podcast? What makes me think I would make a good podcast host? Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Anyway, all right. I'm sorry. We do have... Yes. We do have people in the chat. I do want to say hello. I do not want to leave anyone out. The first one here at 6:29 p.m. A little early, but great. The tired midnight blogger himself, channel member Curtis Selby.
Over on Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that, a lot of them got in here early. I saw that Tim, you're coming up on Tim next. I saw him really early in the Cosme, and I, unfortunately, I go in and I clear the chat for the upcoming thing. So I cleared out his usual meme, which he had to repost. And I said to him, "Hey, Tim, you're like the guy that gets to the theater early so he can get a good seat and then watches as the stagehands set the scene and the lighting crew test the lights."
That can be fun. I've done that.
Exactly, it is. And it's just, he's that guy, and I super appreciate him for it.
We also have the emoji queen, Lady Mist. Channel member, JPRPH1. Host of Films with Friends, where I will be appearing this Friday at 8 p.m. The creator of the 10-word review. What is the movie? Underwater. From
You say something about fish people.
I saw that movie.
There's a
Big Al, huh?
Yes, there's a rather familiar creature that might turn up during the course of that film. I mean,
it's a spoiler if we tell you, though.
Does he usually lie dreaming in Dread Rylea?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I also want to remind everyone that all four of us have a stream up. So if you wouldn't mind making rounds and dropping a thumbs up and maybe a hi, that would be great. So we could say hi back.
It's not mandatory, but it is absolutely appreciated.
Yes, it is.
What's mandatory is you have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Cosme link is pinned to the top of all of our chats. So it doesn't matter which one you're on. You can still access Cosme.
Because, I mean, gosh, if you don't have a good time, it's not like we're going to kick you out. But if you don't have a good time, you're likely to not come back anyway. So so we want you to have a good time.
You know who doesn't bash his fans? David Lynch.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, he never has.
Have you ever heard him say an unkind word about his audience ever?
Now, in fairness, he's not that... I mean, he's fairly standoffish. He's never been to any of the get-togethers or whatever that I've
That's okay. That's okay. That I don't care about, believe it or not. It'd be great if he showed up to one of them, but it's not mandatory. Just don't...
He sends his daughter, though. I mean,
she called him once, and we got to hear him over speakerphone.
That is true. So there was that. Also, at one convention, he did an exclusive short film for the fans in Washington. That got together for the fest. Now I think that video has leaked out into the YouTubeosphere somewhere, but still it was kind of nice. It's like, wow, he did a short film specifically for us.
Nice. Kopla, Smart Mounikoff. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Check Productions. It's Connie Cleary.
Welcome, Connie.
Scrolling on through. I want to make sure I did not miss anyone. All right. I think that is everyone who has said hello in the chat so far. I do want to say hello to everyone who is joining us tonight on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there.
I like it when Dougie refers himself as Mr. Jackpots. Remember that?
Right. And what's interesting is that he, maybe I have a unique perspective on Dougie because, my brother was autistic, right?
Right.
So he communicates in a very subdued, passive way, similar to the way my brother was, doing a lot of repeating,
right.
What other people say, which causes you to wonder, does he understand what he's saying, or is he just mimicking? Obviously the conceit of the people in Dougie's life is he's never been this way, so they have no reason to believe that he's on the spectrum or something like that. So they just take him at face value and thereby read more into what he's saying than the audience does, and the audience sees some humor in that. But yeah, I mean, really, to him, it's gibberish. He's just repeating things, either that is being said right then and there, or something that someone had said previously. And that brings us. I'm glad we got on this topic, because that kind of brings us to, I think it was last week, Mike telling him from the lodge, "You've got to wake up. Don't die." Right?
Yes.
Implying if he doesn't wake up, whatever that means in this context, he will die. Right? And I have to believe that he is, whether literally or figuratively, in that kind of twilight state between dreaming and waking, and he needs to wake up. Now, gosh, especially after the two watch parties we did last night, especially Inception, the whole thing about the kick to wake you up. Can't wake up on your own. He's got to wake up on his own. And that's going to play out as we go. There's going to be payoff for it, I promise. I know I mentioned that earlier. I know that I know this is a rude way to say it, but a lot of normies were annoyed with this series because of the pacing. But the die-hard David Lynch fans and the original Twin Peaks fans were like, this is kind of what we expect. This is going just the way David intends. It's fine. Deal with it.
This is how I treated it at the time. I was enjoying it, and I sort of treat this series the same way I treated Ash versus the Evil Dead. If you want to take it as canon, this is the true follow-up to Twin Peaks, that's fine. If you want to take it as a what-if or apocrypha or something like that, something that could have happened, you could treat it like that as well. And I'm fine either way, because even if it was just a what-if story, I still think it's a great ride. And I'm fine with it either way. But
So, I maybe it's, again, the inspiration from last night's film, but I do want to start touching on a little bit of what I feel is implied to be going on here. And again, I don't feel like it's a spoiler at this point in season 3, and especially after Fire Walk with Me. I'm going to underscore Philip Jeffries' line about "we live in a dream," right? And it seems very clear to me that if you saw Inception and this concept of dreams at different levels, even the second film, What Dreams May Come, the idea that the afterlife is really just a dream, because that whole title, What Dreams May Come, that comes directly from Shakespeare, what is it? To sleep, to dream no more. Aye, there be the rub for what dreams may come, in the sleep of death, so to speak. And what that movie takes it literally, saying that the sleep of death literally is a dream that is the afterlife. Your consciousness goes on, but not in a physical way, in more of a dreamlike way. Which, of course, ties into a lot of, again, David Lynch, transcendental meditation, and so forth. This belief that the consciousness exists outside of the physical body. This crude matter, are we? No. It is like the Force, right? And
we just have to Jedi. You just proved it there.
Exactly. Our consciousness is tethered for a brief time to the physical world in the form of a body. But I love that line from the movie last night. What do you think? Your consciousness is in your brain? Your brain is just meat, and that rots. And you're dead, and you're still having this conversation with me.
Oh.
So,
I just had a vision of Luke in the Black Lodge with Yoda, but Yoda speaks normal in the Black Lodge instead of the. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Anyway,
no, that's funny. I like that.
Maybe Luke would talk weird, and Yoda would be fine.
Right. Exactly. Well, no, because if that's the case, then Luke would be like Cooper didn't do the backwards talking.
I
when
know,
was in
I
the
know,
lodge.
he didn't. He didn't. Just, yeah.
But that would be funny. That no, there's no dangling participles for Yoda
Nope.
when he's in the lodge, right? But anyway, it definitely seems that the whole concept behind what is reality, what isn't, it's pretty subjective from David Lynch's perspective, and perhaps what the lodges are is some other. We talk about it as supernatural. We think of it like heaven and hell, or whatever. But maybe all that is just another level of consciousness that without getting too freaky deaky. We talk about the three dimensions of space and one of time, right? But there are far more dimensions, at least, physicists believe that to be the case. And since we cannot perceive them, it's a noodle scrambler to try imagine, fifth, sixth, 11th dimensions, right? It's hard enough.
How many have they added on since the 7 dimensions of string theory was unveiled? They probably have added more since then, right? Yeah.
One possible theory is 11. Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't pulling that number out of nowhere.
Gotcha.
But these are mathematical constructs. No physicist is actually trying to imagine them in a physical sense because we can't. Imagine a 2-dimensional being trying to imagine a 3-dimensional universe, right? The 2-dimensional being sees flat forever, and if you were to poke a pencil through their 2-dimensional world, they wouldn't see the pencil. All they'd see is this hole opening up, like the outer range. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so 5th and 6th dimensions would be kind of like that, right? And so when you imagine that Mike and the arm and the fireman are multi-dimensional beings, right? They take on 3 dimensions so they can communicate with Cooper and others, but you're only seeing that 3 dimensions of them. There's more to them that you can't see, and that's why Mike asks questions like, is this future or is this past? That's why you get this distorted way of hearing them that's like backwards speaking reversed, at least that's my interpretation of it. So is the dream world one of, or touching on that dimension? And I'm implying that my opinion at this point is yes, it is. A short film starring Peter Dinklage. Yes, exactly. Yeah, screw him because he wants to make sure that no little person ever works again, except him. So, fuck him.
That's right. We have CGI dwarfs now.
Yeah, right. Which is like, dwarf face. I'm coining that right now. Disney is engaging in dwarf face.
Don't.
One thing about dreams I've often wondered, what really would happen if you fell and hit? I always wake up just as... Yeah, happens to me all the time. They talked about it in Inception. It's interesting, right? Because it really does feel like you're falling and you land in your bed, right? Because of the way you jolt awake. Don't know. I think that's what happens. You wake up. Anyway, speaking of waking up, I think the sleeper must awaken. We should probably get to that.
Just get right to it, like
Indeed.
the cowboy said.
Unless I'm really bad at this part where you do the catch everybody up on what happens last week. You guys want to maybe try to
Well,
take a shot at that before we get started?
Okay. We last week was an episode where Harry Dean Stanton's character from Fire Walk with Me features pretty prominently. We learned, thanks to the end credits, that there's a new character that is related to a certain someone. That was a bit of a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that has not yet, during the show itself, been revealed. It was one of those episodes where there's kind of a sense of dread over the whole thing, because you kind of have a feeling that somebody's not going to be there at the end. And
You expect to beat Harry Dean Stanton?
You kind of do, because
Yeah. They
sort of telegraph it that it's probably going to be him. But it isn't. But he is there at the fatal moment. And let's just say that things are not well in Deer Meadow at the moment. And Twin Peaks is going to get affected as well. So there was that. We have Dougie concluding his Well, I don't want to say concluded. He has given his boss his findings, such as they are.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like I was describing. He's just, drawing based on what these indications are that he's getting from the lodge or whatever, and he has no idea, because he's not actually understanding it at all. But it means something to his boss, and it's highlighting. Well, what it's actually highlighting, I don't think it's a jump for us to conclude that there is some malfeasance going on at the insurance company.
The Anthony Sinclair character, played by Tom Sizemore, is clearly not on the up and up.
Right.
And
which is bad for a company. A company does not want to find themselves in a legal situation because of an employee pulling a scam.
Right. So we have that. We have this Ike the Spike character who has been doing some very messy house cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the impression that he's kind of a like a professional hitman, but he's also a psycho.
Yeah.
The debtors got paid off.
Really is.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
debtors
they
got
did.
paid off. Okay.
Mhm.
And Chad was acting kind of obnoxious.
Oh, he's a dick.
Very, very, very much so. And hello to David working on why no triple peaks or quadruple peaks, because they're just the two. For now, who knows? I mean, if it were outer range where there's like mountains coming and going.
Well, it's funny because it's very clear in the fictional world of Twin Peaks. I don't even remember what the two mountains are called. They're actually named in the source material or whatever, in the books and whatnot. But you go to Snoqualmie, North Bend, and you're like, so what are the Twin Peaks? And you look, and there's mountains all around you, and there's no two that just are so perfectly together that they would make for Twin Peaks. But everyone's got their theory about which ones in the area might represent the Twin Peaks. But because I mean at any given time you can see like 3 or 4 mountains. So actually, David, if you were to go to the actual filming location, it would be like triple and quadruple peaks. Beautiful, by the way. If you ever get a chance to visit North Bend and Snoqualmie, Washington, it's worth the trip.
Indeed.
Good
Yes,
eating
we
too,
do.
right?
We do.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Boomer?
And
Good eating too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. A little on the costly side, but higher cost of living out there on the left coast. But you know, if you're visiting and not living there, you know. Oh, welcome, Nate. Good to see you.
all right. Just I have a theory there are elbows on the table.
And that table is for Micah.
All right. Well, I think without any further ado, I think we should go ahead and get started here.
Any further ado or further
And,
don't.
Oh, hello.
Yep. Mark had a manager like Chad once. He said something real bad and illegal. I saw and then enjoyed throwing his sorry ass under the bus and watching him get fired. Good. Yeah, I think you're going to, I think there's going to be a payoff for Chad, too. So there you go.
All right.
All right.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Let me check the volume. Yeah. Nice, Tim. Who is that?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. She was the one that was in the Madam Web thing that you never really got to see her.
Yeah.
I think I ruined the joke. I'll get rid of that. Angela Badalamenti.
Yeah, it broke my heart when he died, and Lynch did his daily, address on social media, and he does the weather report. And he says, "There's no music today." I swear, I was near tears just from him saying that. Parquet. Sorry, I don't know why.
Do you think they have peppermint bark in the Black Lodge for you to snack on?
It would be in the Black Lodge. Yeah, they got chocolate over in the White Lodge.
There we go.
Oh, there's an outfit.
Yeah.
I like it.
He kind of fits in with the Ben and Jerry's kind of concept, doesn't he?
I'm still waiting to see what happens with the 119 woman. She's my favorite character.
I know, right?
I'm going to sit here in the wood and look at trees.
He is tripping balls.
He is knuckin' futs?
He's knuckin' fun. Well, he always was.
Did he take some mushrooms?
Probably. He took something.
Yeah.
Well, remember, there's that new designer drug going around the town, this Sparkle or whatever.
Mark, Colin Austin. Come in.
Right, come in, Orson. Mark says you've not experienced Twin Peaks until you've seen it in the original Klingon.
I was waiting for him to call for Ziggy.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing him on Saturday in the movie Dreamscape. Yeah, so do we!
Just don't lose your phone.
It's your own fault, you dumbass.
He can ping the phone for was it find my phone?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we forgot about the
Right. The missing
finding
pages.
The pages in the
missing
loo.
pages. Which she did.
Yep.
Good on you, Laura. We got time, Lords, buddy.
What's interesting is seeing her handwriting after, I read her diary obviously in print.
I want to know who put it in the bathroom.
Good question. Yeah, I know who put the... See?
Ah.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too, yeah.
Little timey-wimey. See, he's taking it literally, and he understands.
Doc.
There's an interesting dynamic here between Truman and Hawk. It comes off a little bit like Harry and Dale, but
Yeah.
like the second stringers, kind of trying to play catch up. That's incredibly creepy, Boomer.
What?
That's
I'm
incredibly.
just
creepy.
saying. I was trying to think who could have hidden the papers. Maybe.
Yes.
No rabbits.
It would be on brand for David Lynch, though. That's funny, Tim. Yes, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Is he talking to his wife? No, he's talking to. Oh, he's talking to
I
his
think
brother.
he's talking to Harry. Yeah, he's talking to
Yeah.
Harry.
Beat this thing.
Yeah.
And he said like the flu through the entire season.
Yeah.
Stay down, Harry. We got this.
Well, I haven't really done like a lot of people did with the first two seasons. I don't know how much time has passed here. This could be like 7 days. He said
Roll
the thing.
credits.
He said the thing. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, I'm going to take my
Well,
little
he's
cheapy
gonna
doll
die.
haircut and go somewhere.
He's gonna hightail it to Ontario. That or the person who they after are in there with him with a gun pointed at him. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
Hot Doc 5000. Oh. Fuck! No, wait, hold on. That's
Is this
wrong
is this,
one.
Wait, wrong account. Yeah.
Is this gonna be
Okay.
the doc?
That's
That
pretty
is
cool.
cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Why
I
didn't we
guess
have
we
this
can do that.
before?
They have to keep up appearances of the old rustic police office.
Well, and it's clever because it wouldn't be a hard thing to make, you know.
Doc, buddy.
Tim.
What, is this a porno now?
He said the hot Doc 5000.
But that's a nurse. Hello, nurse.
Oh.
I love this conversation here. It just seems so authentic, you know. But it makes me wonder if Warren Frost wasn't like improvising.
That sounds like a good breakfast, huh?
Yeah, it does. This episode is dedicated to Warren Frost, by the way.
Meanwhile, back in South Dakota. Ah!
I wasn't looking at the screen, but it sounded like she called him Detective Mathlete.
Oh, I didn't get past her saying calling herself Knox. Just don't call her Knockers.
Oh.
Thank you, and that's the show for tonight, folks. Good night. It's Twin Peaks, lady. Where are there not bodies?
Don't know.
Best police force ever.
Well, couldn't they have fingerprinted him?
Well, they did.
Not funny, FKHC.
Yeah, because fingerprinting would have said if this was who people are speculating it is.
Yeah, because this ain't freaking him.
Yep. She knows.
There's no head.
Precisely.
Uh-oh.
Friend or foe, buddy?
What the heck is that? What's walking down the hall?
It's Woodman. A lumberjack.
I'm a lumberjack and that I'm okay.
Well, we hope he's okay.
What's that actress's name?
Red? I don't know.
Okay.
I'll look.
It's corn.
Look who it is. It's Gordon.
Yep. That background shot is going to be important when we get to the...
Oh,
yeah, when we get to the final dossier and secret history. So you asked about the actress playing Knox. It's a gal by the name of Adele Jones.
Okay. Huh.
okay. Is it going to be pistols and 10 paces with these two? Come on, guys.
Uh-huh.
I'm on the same team here. Or are we? I don't know anymore. All right.
Well, they're not friends with Dorothy.
You don't know that.
Who the hell are you?
Right.
What did? Okay.
He's probably used to hearing that. I never even got this far.
Wait, what?
Oops. Sorry about that.
What's her problem?
Figure there's probably been some history between the last episode of season 2 and now. And it wasn't with the good Dale, right?
Huh.
Hey.
They're in Twin Peaks?
Well, yeah, season 3.
Ah. Look at that plane, huh?
Yep.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
She has a certain way of saying, look at this.
Yes.
What? Now I'm thinking about it.
Oh.
You know, if that's supposed to be a real cigarette, I don't see any smoke coming off of it.
Yeah. Her name is Rio? Yeah.
Okay, and she said that why?
Because she's
Why
just got a
not?
bad attitude. Something happened to her in the past 30 years that's really turned her head around. She really doesn't want to do this.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Answer the question.
It's a good poker face.
Yeah. Right, Tim.
Do they serve cream corn in prison?
I remember.
Yeah, probably.
Also, bring in Jack Bauer. He's Sam.
Right.
Oh, damn it. Damn it. And hello to Rank or Steve.
Oh, hey, Steve.
If you want to join us, the link is at the top of the chat.
We're about,
We're
what,
about
midway
halfway
through the episode?
Yeah.
So is she an Elkie too?
We lose Boomer?
Oh. I think we did. The strawberries. I don't know anything about the strawberries. The men wanted me dead. Oh, because they didn't know me any better.
Poker face, poker face.
Oh, I always feel better when we're back in town.
Yeah. You can almost feel like the cool air, that
Yeah.
you know that feeling in the shade, deep in the trees.
It's a little damp.
Oh, Mark, you.
Ew.
He said 4:30. He's 40 minutes late. He's back.
Hey,
Welcome, Flappy. And he's gone again. This guy isn't from Twin Peaks. This is a federal prison.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
movie seat.
He's not talking to anybody.
The Saving
Shut
Private
the door and
Ryan
go into his
sequel is
office.
weird.
I don't think this woman is capable of walking normally. She's got to stomp.
She's definitely got an attitude. She's constantly angry.
Oh, Slappy returns.
Oops.
Oh,
Sorry. Didn't realize you had it.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Lost internet.
I figured.
I did.
Are you having weather?
I don't know why it went out. Ugh.
Oh, hey.
Yep.
Okay. Good night, Tim.
Take care, Tim. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes. Here it comes. It's okay.
The secretary's kind of cute.
Don't leave.
Yeah, she tried something with him a couple episodes back.
She's into our boy Dougie over here. Yeah.
Well, he looks good now.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have the flab. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes, exactly.
He's carrying himself better.
No. You are not Detective Fusco. He was on Person of Interest.
Perfect timing.
Okay. Just bear with him, please.
In a lot of ways, this is kind of like me and Netter.
Stolen.
Wow.
I mean, she's not wrong. If anything, Nate, she's kind of got a reason. Just from what we've seen, we understand why she's stressed.
Well, some of it.
Shit.
Yeah, talk about burying the lead.
No. It's like, no, you need a favor from me. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
I want
that's
this
a good
man
point.
savagely beaten.
I want to know what the files too. Darn it!
Mr. Jackpot.
Hold on.
Yup.
Training came into play there.
Cuisinart's Hatterack, bitch.
That's reflexes.
Here come the cops again. They ain't written.
He didn't say anything,
Yeah,
girl.
he did. Yeah, he did.
That's funny.
Oh, what's on the? Oh, ew!
It's the guy's hand, or piece of his skin,
Yep.
because a little weird tree thing came up and
Yeah,
did
the
something.
arm.
Meanwhile, back at the Great
Back at the
Northern.
ranch.
Right, exactly.
You are your own first responder, indeed.
I've been trying to figure out a weird sound in our house since we moved in. And I haven't been able to pinpoint it. We've been here 18 years.
It's coming from the lodge.
That heartbeat sound?
Probably.
Is this coming from a certain desk, maybe?
No, I think it's coming from a certain room.
It's the totem.
It's as if there's something in the wood.
No peeing on street, please.
Yeah, he's drinking lemonade, but he just switched glasses. For whatever reason, he's trying to make it like half and
Funny.
half. Oh.
I'm not sure I want to drink it at all.
Oh, right, they went the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Think, Ben. Use your head.
A little before your time.
And we're not
At
done
least
yet.
2 seasons. A couple books.
Oh, he is being a good boy.
So you can leave now.
Benny. Benny. Losh Benetosh. This Kiss the Girl sequel is weird.
Okay, is that supposed to be his office? Because his office is in a different part of the lodge.
Yeah, they've
Yeah, because now it's across from the registration desk.
it is the same room where his office was set up, but they completely changed the setup.
Yeah, but it wasn't across from the registration desk, which I could see through the doorway.
You're right. Focuses in on the wood.
Okay, fine. Don't tell me.
No cream corn. This is Beverly Page, who's Ben Horn's secretary, and her husband Tom, who's sick. I think it's cancer.
Oh, Enigma.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Tom. This is what happens when you marry a nasty woman.
It's weird. I read that scene wrong on my first watch. I'll tell you after the show's over.
Okay.
I was mistaken. I don't-
Let's see right now.
Is that hay?
Oh, I'm sure that's probably peanut
Yeah.
shells.
He needs one of those push brooms. Because that's going to take him forever. So it's gonna,
Mark.
so it's going to be just like 5-10 minutes of this guy just sweeping the floor. Or something.
This is David literally given what's his name a job, you know, trying to help Walter out.
That's not Walter, though.
Yeah,
Behind him, that is
Oh.
Walter.
Yeah, Walter was a piece of work.
I kind of can't blame him. I mean, when you're desperate.
Yeah, but using your friends and then going back and try using them again.
Yeah, it was pretty tacky.
Of course you do.
Okay, his financial sense is what it is.
Oh. No one invite this man to your kid's bar mitzvah.
Right.
I don't know why that popped in my head. I'm just-
Look in the smell.
Wait, what's going on here? Is this where the guard asks for his cut?
This is all just a the escape plan.
I'm just imagining the cut is him getting cut up. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
I see.
I don't know. It's a joke. I don't know.
There's some explaining to do. Back to Jerry.
It's dark.
Riley Lynch, everyone. David's son.
Is that a theme from a summer place?
It's Sleepwalk.
Sleepwalk.
Weird ending. I agree with that statement. To this and every other Twin Peaks episode.
That giggle.
Oh, that giggle. I love it. Now, I don't know if you were paying close attention, but the patrons changed during that scene, even though the camera never left them.
Oh.
That was obviously intentional, but Mark Frost is unaware of the meaning. David wouldn't tell him. I have my theory, but we're going to have to save that for another time because it's going to tie into some other little details that'll be coming up in future episodes. But yes, that was Bing. The character's name was Bing, played by Riley Lynch, who came in asking if anyone had seen Billy. Billy, you won't know this for another few episodes, but he was Audrey's extramarital affair.
Okay. This is how I read the Tom situation wrong.
Okay.
When I first watched it. As you know, it had been a while since I had watched the original Twin Peaks. I just dove into the return, right?
Right.
I thought that Tom was Sheriff Harry Truman.
Oh, okay,
This is what I thought, and obviously I'm wrong about that, but I thought that all this cover-up, I hope you get over that flu soon, I hope you beat the flu, and I think that this is all you, because he didn't want anyone to know he had cancer. I thought Ashley Judd was his wife, and she seems like the kind of woman that Sheriff Truman might have fallen for, especially
I could see
when
that,
she was
sure.
younger.
Yeah.
And I think Ben Horn is like, it's not just the fact that she's married. It's like, I'm not going to do Sheriff Truman that dirty. I won't do it. Okay. By sleeping with his wife while he's dying of a horrible cancer. But obviously, I read that scene completely wrong. But that was
but only slightly here. So yeah, it wasn't Harry. It's
I knew it was. I knew it
entirely.
wasn't the same actor, but I thought they got a look-alike actor to kind of fill
Sure.
in. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I can see that, and that's fair. But no, it's someone named Tom. There's a lot of characters that are new that we know very, very little about. Just a mention, or you see him on screen for a moment. You almost have to struggle to make the connections to how they're interconnected. And again, I think that's very logical, very natural. This is 30 years on. There's tons of people in Twin Peaks, like almost 50,000, right? That we didn't know by name, that are all interconnected. But here you see what seems to be completely unrelated to the main plots or whatever, but you've got Tom, and he's presumably dying from cancer, and his wife Beverly has to go out and work because he can't, right? And she's working late hours with Ben Horn, so he starts to feel a bit insecure, right? Kind of not surprised. And you almost get the impression that if Ben was the Ben that we knew 30 years ago, he would have absolute reason to be, suspicious. Hell, just what we know about Beverly, he would have reason to be suspicious, I think. But there does, and this is where I'm extrapolating and making some assumptions or whatever, but I think that the character arc that we saw Ben on in season 2, where he was talking about wanting to be a good man, I think he's been working on that for 30 years.
Yes.
I mean, he's no Boy Scout, but
People can change.
Yeah, I think he's grown up. Yeah. I would say this about a number of people. Ben is one. Definitely Bobby. And probably some others who you'd have said were kind of on the wrong side of the good-bad divide. Their lives were very much changed by Laura's death. And we've been kind of following those characters since the first episode of Twin Peaks. And now we're kind of seeing where they've gotten to in 2019 or whatever it was this year. This I forgot what season or what year this came out, but yeah. There's a lot of wibbly wobbly timey wiminess going on here. We got we got Major Briggs. I don't think they said it directly, but it's Major Briggs's body, and the body is a 40-year-old man who just died recently, but Major Briggs would be in his 70s now. And if he would have died, in his 40s, that would have been a 30-year-old body. That's a pretty damn well-preserved body, right? Not a beautiful-looking body, it's obviously a dead body missing a head, but pretty good condition for, a 30-year-old body. We also have, and we already knew about this, but now Hawk knows, right, that Laura had this dream before she died of Annie Blackburn, telling her the good Dale is in the lodge and he can't get out. Write it in your diary. So that tells us a couple things. Again, there is one theory of dreams that, you can travel in time in dreams, right? So could very well be that, there's some dream time travel going on here with Annie and whatnot. I think that'll play out more when we get to the fan film we'll be looking at later. But we I'm trying to be very careful because not because I'm afraid of spoilers, but I'm afraid of saying things that I've assumed that may or may not be the case. So we've got these I don't want to call them time paradoxes, right? To the people and to the characters that are looking at things in a linear fashion, right? Anything that happens out of order might appear to be a time paradox, right? You know, a body that Rip Van Winkles, right? And Laura having a dream about people she never met before she died, right? But thus far, none of these things are like Back to the Future paradoxes where, you know, something changes something else in the future, right? And yet, at the end of this episode, we get this weird, like, the makeup of the patrons in the Double R Diner changes before our eyes.
And we don't notice, or do we?
I did, but I'm guessing you did, and that's why I'm bringing it up again. And I'm guessing Deleted's probably going to like rewind and take a look at that himself later. But yeah. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that for those kinds of details in those apparently atmospheric scenes where there's no dialogue. Just pay attention and look for anomalies like that as we go forward. The Boy Scouts are thinking. Yeah, you saw my post on that, right, Curtis? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess Bruce Willis was the last Boy Scout. But yeah, was there anything else I wanted to comment on? Doppelcooper has flown the coop. He's escaped from prison. He obviously knew some things about the warden that he used to blackmail him to get out. Also seems like, and maybe I'm misreading this, tell me if you guys got the same read on this. When he was having that conversation with the warden, he says something about what you're thinking right now. Almost implied to me like he can read his friggin' mind. I don't know if that's true or not. It was just my take on what he said.
Huh.
I think
I took that to mean it's like, you know what I'm talking about, and I know what you're thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be, you know, he's in control of this situation, and you're thinking this because I know what you're thinking, you know, because not because I read your mind, but because that's what you should be thinking right now. And also, we don't know the details, but we know something happened between Diane and Cooper. We assume it's Doppelcooper, right? We assume they were on good terms up until the end of season 2. But then after that, any contact she had with Cooper was not the good Dale. It was Doppelcooper. And who knows what happened at her place.
But she knows that's not Dale.
She definitely knows it now. I got the impression she was chewing on some of the information she was overhearing in the plane. The thing about the fingerprints and, you know, stuff like that. Then when she saw him, probably saw his eyes, you know, she started thinking, and she's like, yeah, this isn't Dale, right? But one of the things that Dale once said about Diane in one of his tapes to Diane, and of course this comes from the the audio tape, not from the actual show. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said something like, it makes me feel good to know that someone of your perspicacity and, wisdom is, listening. He not only trusted Diane to be a sounding board and to listen and to keep his secrets, or, not, to be discreet about things, but also that she was someone he could get advice from, because she was a sharp cookie, right? And I think that's playing out here. She's catching on something's wrong, and that's why Cole and Albert pulled her in, because they knew that she would. The bad Cooper is a bad guy. He's done some really bad things.
He's killed people.
Well, he's done more than kill people. He's done other very bad things to people, and I'm presuming that Diane was one of them. I may have been making a comment at a key point, so you guys might have missed it, but when Sheriff Truman was talking to Dr. Hayward, he was asking what he remembers about, the night that they brought Cooper back from, the lodge or whatever, and the doc recalled that Cooper was acting strange. Okay, that fits with what we know from Diane. Well, of course, as an audience, we know it wasn't really Dale; it was Doppel Cooper with Bob, piggybacking, right? And then an hour later, he saw Cooper leaving intensive care, fully dressed and with a strange expression. And he had suspected at the time, that Cooper was checking on Audrey, who was still comatose after the bank explosion. So at least we know what happened to Audrey immediately after, season, the end of season 2, the finale, the cliffhanger.
And he had an English muffin with huckleberry jam.
Did they mention that detail? Did I miss
Yes.
that? Okay.
That was his breakfast.
Right.
I wonder if
you got focused on the breakfast. Yeah.
I realized though why Sheriff Drew was asking him that. I think it was a memory test. So he said, "Did you catch trout? What'd you do with the trout?" And then he's giving all these details about his breakfast. So he's actually, in some ways, testing his memory on something else.
I didn't think about that. That
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah.
I just took it as the small talk that. Okay. And like I said, Frost was so natural. I kind of almost felt like it was improv.
Okay.
I don't know. This is just speculation on my part. Yours is perfectly reasonable too. Yes. I didn't know that Sherilyn Fenn did too, but that's probably David's influence on her. David Lynch believes in transcendental meditation. He's a practicing Buddhist. Welcome, Maria. Good to see you.
Maria!
Oh.
I do wish that with all that, New Age guru stuff, it would have gotten him to quit smoking, but I guess it didn't. Got to do my meditation class, but couldn't help but say hello to my favorite peeps. Yeah, we're just talking about meditation and Buddhism and whatnot.
So I'm very curious. Deleted scenes. What do you think of Diane so far? Haven't you always wondered? All these years?
Well, yeah. obviously someone in a very dark place because of exposure to Dark Cooper. Um, but yeah,
And
interesting.
David asked about did Major Briggs count calories? Yeah, Dan Davis was a heavier guy, right? I think that the body that we're seeing is a little bit bigger than Davis actually was, but I think there's like a bit of bloating from, dead body bloat, you know. And the Black Lodge is shitty, but at least they've got a retirement plan. That's not a bad point. Yeah, I get what you're saying, David, but I never got that from David Lynch. You're right. I've heard that from some people, but he only ever seemed to mention it in passing. Particularly because it was an inspiration for some of the things he was putting into some of his stories. So it was insight to the author and his thought plan in the story.
So what was the deal with the arm in this episode?
I am not sure that was the actual evolution of the arm. I think that was the doppelganger.
Oh, the arm doppelganger.
Yeah. I'm not positive, but I don't see the character of the little man from another place, the dancing one that sits and gives little clever clues to Dale, telling him, squeeze his hand off. I don't see that. I think it was the Black Lodge version, the dark side version. Yes, David Lynch does get carried away with small details. Honestly, though, I think that's exactly why so many of us have enjoyed this for so long. There's so much there, so much rewatchability, but I don't think he puts in little details the way like Stanley Kubrick does. Stanley Kubrick is like, he thinks through everything. And, the words on the page in the magazine you don't even see are important to him. Whereas I think David Lynch just is going for mood, and the little details are important in that he can look back at them and draw, inspiration from them later on.
Thank you and welcome, Wade.
Wade Raid, yes. Thank you. But yeah. So yeah, we now have a little bit of information about what happened to Audrey. I don't know if you consider that a good thing or not.
Yeah, it's like, is she all together there or is she missing body parts?
Oh, you know what? Another detail that was... We commented on it, so you guys noticed it. When Knox was leaving the morgue, there was a dark figure behind her that she creeped her out and she wanted to avoid. And I told you it was a lumberjack. We're going to get more from... I don't know if it was the exact same one or a different one, but it was a similar character as we saw in the prison. Remember, we We saw, what's his name? Shaggy in the one cell, and a few cells down, there was this blackened looking guy with white eyes who just kind of floated away.
Mm-hmm. That was the same guy, right?
I'm not positive it was the same guy, but it was definitely the same visage. Someone, a very blackened lumberjack or woodsman of some kind. We'll get more about them next week. If you guys think it's been trippy up till now, hold on to your seats, folks. Next week's going to be a real trip.
Ooh.
We saw Cole sitting in front of a picture of the atom bomb being detonated, and that's going to have a payoff next week.
And that's going to be significant?
Mm-hmm. Very. I don't know why this would be, but I almost have a feeling that, I don't know if it was David Lynch, more likely Mark Frost. I feel like might have drawn some inspiration from the series Carnival. I don't know that for sure, but I just got a feeling. We'll talk more about that theory next week.
Huh.
Don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Carnival, yes, I did.
Was that Showtime as well?
HBO.
Oh, that was HBO. Okay.
It was supposed to be a 6-season series with made storylines finishing every 2 years. Like the first 2 seasons were going to be book 1, and then there's going to be a book 2 and a book 3.
It's a shame we didn't get those. A big part of that was Mikey Anderson. They couldn't recast him as a big branch with a brain on top of it.
By the way, though, I did learn about what was going to happen to some of the characters in later seasons.
Oh, okay. I'll want to hear about that.
But maybe not now.
Well, because I think that would
Okay.
require going deeper into
gotcha.
it for the
I'll talk
audience,
to you
and
about
I
it
think
later.
that's Lumberjack got wood? Yeah, exactly.
Sonny Jim.
Hold on to those theories, David, until we get more about Audrey, but interesting, yeah.
Very interesting.
Age of consent in Washington is 16. Well, in order to consent, you have to be conscious. Yeah. Yeah, Curtis, hold on to that one, too. I'm a lumberjack and I am okay. Are you? Are you? Yeah, the lumberjacks, a lot of theories there, and I'm not certain yet. I'm not certain yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But that's why we're doing this, because we can work together to figure out some of this weirdness. Did I miss anything you guys wanted to cover or have any questions? You probably have a lot of questions, but I think...
Well, I think it was interesting that the little midgety guy comes after Cooper. Cooper pushes his wife aside.
Yep.
And then just goes into FBI mode and wrestles the guy to the ground, knocks his gun hand down.
Yeah.
To protect himself, his wife, whatever.
Yep.
And it was just like instinct. So you could see part of the old Cooper.
Yep. And you know, anybody who's, you know, worked in law enforcement or in the service of any kind, you know, knows not only training, but, you know, when you've had to use those skills, that stuff is natural. That is not something you think about. So the fact that he is not engaged and not thinking doesn't matter. You know? In fact, you notice that he sees this happening even before anyone else does. You know? Woodworking is a cure for loose stools? Oh, I get it. Very clever, Mark.
Funny, man.
It took me a second. Remember, he who laughs last thinks slowest. Yes, he did kick tail. Well, he more like chopped throat, but the same thing, basically. Yep. So, yeah, there you go.
Andy.
Oh, right. That was a brief one, almost missed. Yeah. So he goes to question somebody who asks him, "Can I meet you in 2 hours?" and then never shows up.
I think he's dead.
Likely.
I think that would be a very, very reasonable hypothesis. Yeah. But what we did see, though, was that the guy's truck is still at the house and the door is open. So, don't know. Don't know what that means or what we'll find out. But another little detail you may or may not have noticed is that truck was the same one that Richard Horn had been driving in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And it's very easy to dismiss the whole thing with Jerry Horn as just weirdness and him getting high, but I still think that with all the other drug stuff going on in the show, there might definitely be a connection.
So the sound that we were hearing in the hotel, was that an allusion to Josie?
I didn't want to put that
Fine, a
sharp
point
a
on
point. Yeah,
I did.
but it feels like there's something there. Yeah, there's
That's
something
what
to it.
Yeah.
That's the focusing on the wood paneling and whatnot. It kind of makes sense. Like Josie's still there somehow.
Yeah.
But,
Which chat are you in, Nate? Because I've only seen your last two in mine.
Josie and mine.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping around too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate, I don't see you in mine, but you may have been in Netter's, perhaps?
Hold on, I'm looking at mine. For Nate?
Yeah.
Well, you're not blocked, Nate, so anything you type should be coming up.
Yeah.
I don't see him in mine.
Last person that posted mine was Mark Malikoff.
Yeah, the last person that posted in mine was David Working.
Yeah. I would...
And before
Would
that
really
was Curtis
suck.
Selby.
It would really suck to have Dougie as a dad. Somebody else's father gets taken away for Laura Palmer. How many more bodies we got stacked up for this one she bitch? You know, Dougie Here's what's interesting. Yeah, Dougie, as far as we know, before Dale took his place, kind of a dick. You know, he's out womanizing. You know, sleeping with what?
Nate is in Deleted's YouTube stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Hi, Nate.
I didn't see anything coming up during the time he said he was typing.
Oh.
Is my point.
Oh.
Which would imply he is being blocked somehow, but
I see one at
not by me.
8:52 from him.
I don't think I blocked anybody, but I don't know.
No. This has got to be a StreamYards thing. Remember, we're not necessarily looking at our own YouTube channels. We're looking because we're supposed to be seeing all the comments here in StreamYard. Okay. It's a way to see everything at once to try and manage all of this, but it doesn't always work.
The latest one I'm seeing is 9:34. I see one from 9:07.
But the one from 9:32 is very interesting. Troy, Boomer, you guys should do a story for Geeky Geezers about the creator of Borderlands game attacking his own fans on Twitter for not liking the movie.
I'll look for it.
Yeah.
8:42, 8:11, 8:05.
Getting really sick and tired of these people trying to shift the blame for their shitty games, their shitty movies,
all right,
and blaming the fans.
All right. I am going to do a review on this. I watched Borderlands last night.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a movie worth seeing in theaters. I'm not sure it's even worth seeing on streaming. If you ride the high seas, which I am not suggesting, that would probably be the best way because it plays like a VOD movie.
Sounds to me like it's not even worth the bandwidth.
My opinion on it is, and this is not what it is. All right, it is not a rights retainer movie, but it feels like one.
Yeah.
It feels like one of those movies we would have gotten in the early 2000s where we need to make a movie so we can keep the rights. It doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be done by Tuesday. That's what it felt like.
Well, but ironically, it was done and reworked and sitting on a shelf for a long time.
That was another problem. Is this was the original script was written 9 years ago by a guy named Craig Mazin. And if he sounds familiar, he's the guy who did the Chernobyl miniseries on HBO and is currently doing The Last of Us. And he had his name taken off of the movie because he didn't like the direction that they were taking it in. In short, they weren't using his script anymore. They filmed this movie in 2021.
Yeah,
and then
ago,
came back for reshoots at some time from that point. So I was looking at the chat. I lost my train of thought there. And those reshoots were not done by Eli Roth. They were done by Tim Miller, who directed the first Deadpool and also Terminator Dark Fate. So you have a director that essentially walked off the film.
He went to go make Thanksgiving, I think. Yeah.
He went to go make he went to go make Thanksgiving, which is the far better movie. But yeah, you know what? I went into Borderlands blind. I know nothing of the games. Somehow I don't think that mattered. Genius. It just came off like they took a decent cast and then It's just like they all went out and did bad cosplay. That's all it is. It's not really even worth doing all these videos about. But I'm going to do one because that's what we do. So
I am sorry. I was typing, and didn't realize I was typing to my YouTube channel, and so it's very likely that David has not been seeing the comments that I've been making to him. He said, "Is karma interdimensional?" And I had said that yes, I do believe the theory would be that karma is unbound dimensionally speaking. He said, Dougie before was bad, but he existed, and there is always room for redemption. And I said, but, Dougie was a tulpa. I take it that he's more of a construct, and that he didn't have a soul, so to speak. So no redemption, but no damnation either. Just existence and then oblivion. He literally was constructed by Doppelcooper as a kind of as a decoy, sort of, and to try to skirt the rules of the lodges. And when his usefulness was used up, he was just unmade, deconstructed. But that's just my read of it. I would not, die on any hill of any of the theories of anything that I've, that I'm devising for these story elements. This is all pretty trippy stuff. And your theory is as good as mine. Oh, that's not necessarily good. My nephew saw it. He said the Borderlands movie is this generation's Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. That's not a ringing endorsement.
I was thinking Pluto Nash.
Ouch! That's even worse. Yikes. But David is saying that Borderlands is a bad game. So it sounds like you couldn't really expect a terribly good movie if it's based on a bad game, right?
Yeah, his name is Randy Pitchford. I'll see if I can find out. Maybe as the week goes by.
Oh, yeah, this guy. Yeah, I've been hearing about that. This is a guy who's, I think, one of the creators of the game. And he's also a producer on the film. And he's basically
kind of a dick.
Going after fans on Twitter. So yeah, not a good move when your movie's already tanking.
Yeah, we were talking in the backdrop earlier about these Hollywood types, these game makers and these directors and stars and whatnot, just hating their audience and not hiding it, just deriding us. And it's like, well, screw you. I'm not giving you my money anymore. More people need to start doing that instead of saying, yes, abuse me more. Here's more money.
If Black Lodge is interdimensional, the tulpas also have to be interdimensional. That's the idea.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but like I said, they appear to be constructs, and you will see more about the paradigm for a tulpa as we get to the end of this season. But we've already seen Dougie deconstructed. His body disappeared and he turned into a little gold seed. But there will be another tulpa coming up. And although you don't know it, one of the side characters that was mentioned previously was being prosecuted or was being pursued for the murder of her own tulpa.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Couldn't find anything about the Borderlands CEO or the Gearbox CEO, but going on the meltdown. But that might come later in the week. But I have a companion article that we can use with it when the time comes.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at that later.
Yep.
Maybe don't look at it now. Okay.
We can look at it backstage.
Yeah,
right.
that's better. Yeah.
To quote Doomcock, without respect, we reject. Exactly. And this is I'm kind of giving away my own review here. I'm going to be going into that because part of why I am rating the movie as low as I am.
Mm-hmm.
But really, to me, it's more of just a nothing burger. It's a movie and it happened. But the reason I'm rating it even lower than that is the fact that you cannot go out, and I am talking about Hollywood in general. You cannot mouth off the way you have, go after the movie going public the way that you have, going after the video game people, throwing all of these names at them, telling them they're just wasting away in their mother's basements, James fucking Cameron.
Yep.
And then make a movie this slipshod, this sloppy, this generic. I've never 0-starred a movie before, but I'm considering doing it with this one.
Wow. So other than that, how was it?
Just off of the fact that I'm sick and tired of how we're getting talked to by these Hollywood people, man. They think they are important. Some of them literally think they are saving the world by making these movies. We're saving lives. Ain't saving shit.
Yeah.
You are surrounded by people who tell you you are brilliant, when near as I can tell, you spend the bulk of your time doing drugs, raping teenagers, shooting at police, and thinking Harvey Weinstein's God.
Not
Go
wrong.
fuck yourself. And that's
They
the
don't learn.
point that I'm getting to. And they need to learn, and we need to tell them.
They've learned nothing over the past few years, have they? They just keep doubling down. That's what happens.
Yeah. And I know we're going off on a rant here, folks, but I mean,
But it's your stream. You can do whatever you want.
yeah, it is. That's true. And and this is why we got together to bring Twin Peaks to you, because this is something that is well done, is meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
is something that stuck in our heads for 30 years.
Mm-hmm. That we still revisit
That
and
we
enjoy.
that we revisit, that we obsessed over. I mean, you have no idea. This is pre-internet. The show.
Yes.
This was true. If they had Twitter in 1990 when this show was on, holy shit, it would have blown up.
Can you imagine? Okay, so think about this. One of the problems that people have with, shows is people talking about it on Twitter and stuff. And, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. But if we had had the internet back then, before we had, streaming, back when we had, terrestrial television, it was must-see TV. If you didn't see it, well, you're going to kind of be out of luck. So most people saw it when it aired and were talking about it the next day. No one was really concerned about spoilers. It was the rare individual who, recorded it on VHS to watch later and may not have seen it the very next day. Kind of your own problem. You need to stay off the internet then.
Huh.
Curtis Selby says it was even before MySpace. I never even thought about that. That's probably true.
I was never a MySpace guy, so I never paid attention.
I had an account on MySpace.
I never did.
I never once used it. But I did
it.
start an account.
I liked MySpace. It was much better than Facebook. You could be creative with your pages. Facebook is the same standard blue abyss that never changes. And why did Facebook become popular? Because it's the social media that, well, I don't want to use this term, but whatever, that the boomers picked up on. Aha, because, my name, anyway. That's what it was said. That was what the older people, so they ended up being the decider of what the default social media, most popular social media was going to be.
Apparently, MySpace is still a thing. It still exists.
Well, I'll have to start a page up. There we go.
No, I wouldn't.
Here is a question. How do you feel about Ronette? Well, the actress who played Ronette comes back for an episode in this season, playing
the American girl.
Whether she is a different character, is she some doppelganger version of Ronette? That's anybody's guess. But
we did get to see another. Sorry.
She's a character who's a bit of an enigma because we really don't find out a whole lot about her. And that goes back to that whole thing that we were talking about that Cameron brought up, Obnoxious and Anonymous, who did that video about Donna being in the pink room scene in...
You're right.
In Fire Walk with Me, and whether or not that should have been. Ronette is in that scene.
Ronette is, but
I think it should have been Ronette and only Ronette. It makes no sense. If I had any problem, narrative-wise, with Twin Peaks, it's Donna being in that scene. It makes no sense. Because, if that's the case, then she should be 5 steps ahead of everybody in the first 2 seasons. It's a weird thing. What do I think about Ronette? The actress, he seems like a nice girl. I wish they'd given her more to do in the series. I don't know how to feel about the character because we find out so little about her. I guess, how did... Okay, we know how Laura got where to the point that she got. What's Ronette's fucking excuse? I don't know. How did she get caught up in all this?
That is
as good as mine.
That is kind of the shortcoming of this kind of a narrative, right? It's kind of what I alluded to when I was talking about all these new characters that you know almost nothing about because they happen to touch the narrative we're following, right? It's implied that they have a full history before, and you can speculate on what happens to them after, but by and large, we don't know. And to some extent, Ronette was kind of like one of those characters, right? She was a supporting character in Laura's story, and that's about all we know. And we could just speculate beyond that.
I think she get. I'm sorry, Boomer. I keep interrupting.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
finish up. It's fine. I was just going to say, do we see whatever Renault brother this is again?
Jean-Michel.
Yeah, I actually don't remember. He only plays a very small role. I'll just tell you,
Jean-Michel.
he doesn't have that important a role in the film. He's literally just there to give Walter a paycheck.
Which there's nothing wrong with.
No, I don't. I admire David for trying to bring back everyone he could.
And the interesting thing, even though I do hope there's some closure for some of these characters, it feels lived in. Yeah, there's a lot of characters that are floating around, particularly in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it's all going somewhere, or I don't know. Are we going to see Richard Chamberlain again? I don't know. Probably not. You know, we're going to. There's a lot of world building in this, but I do feel like if I'm going to critique this season so far, maybe there are too many characters. There are characters who make sense that, okay, the OG characters are in this place now, and there are other characters who, okay, I see how they fit into whatever particular world that they're in, either, if not Twin Peaks, we go back to Deer Meadow. We have this town in South Dakota that we're going on. We have Las Vegas. We have the Lodge. We have other dimensions in time strands that we get to go. There's a lot to consider, and I'm almost kind of hesitant going into too much detail about certain things because I'm not quite sure how it all fits together.
There are things that I can tell you, this character, you've seen the last of them, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But I do feel like, somebody said, I think it was David, said something about David Lynch putting too much detail in. Like I said, I think he spatters in detail for verisimilitude, and it's not important. The characters may not be important, but if he needs to draw on them later on because he gets some kind of inspiration, they're there. He can. So is Sarah Palmer a tulpa? I'm going to say, I'm not going to equivocate on this one. I'm going to be pretty firm on this one. No, I don't believe she is. But we will get more about Sarah in the next episode. In fact, we're going to get some of her history. We're going to do a little prequel walking with Sarah next episode. Going to see a young Sarah Palmer.
What is the deal with James? Well, he's only been in one scene of the show so far.
James is cool, and he's always been cool. That's really all you need to know about James.
I don't know if he's good. If he's in the show any past the scene that he's been in, or
I do believe he comes back at the end. Yes.
Okay.
I will tell you that my take on James and his whole purpose is he is, in my opinion, the good guy, right? That you don't want to see get corrupted by the things going on around him, but there he is, right at the center of it all. potentially, the lamb among wolves, right?
Mhm.
But he says, F it. He gets on his bike. He leaves town. He does end up coming back, but you don't get the impression he stays back. He knows that staying in Twin Peaks is probably not the best thing for him. So he goes out and sees the world. He's the one that escapes.
Yeah. How does Dr. Jacoby stay in business? I don't think he's in business technically. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wonder how
Selling
much
golden
he's
shovels.
making,
Yeah, hold on to that.
Yeah.
You will. There will be more about Dr. Jacoby too coming up.
He's selling his online merch.
Yeah, he is. He is almost. He's an online guru. Almost a cult figure, I think. So he's probably doing well enough to get by. And the population of Twin Peaks really 51,000. Well, the sign says it, and it always has. Although the Access Guide to Twin Peaks claims that it is a typo, and it's actually 5,100. I don't know.
Oh.
And I think we're going to see all of them in this season.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
kidding.
You may
I'm
be
kidding.
right.
You may be crazy.
But we, like I said, we did get another little clue that Audrey at least survived the bank explosion.
Mm-hmm.
She was comatose, at least in the immediate aftermath. We don't know all of what happened to her after that, but we will be finding out as we go forward.
Well, and let's go back and remind people that those who were caught up in the bank explosion, aside from Audrey, were Andrew Packard,
Right.
Pete Martell,
Yep.
Del
And the old
Mibler,
guard.
who's the bank manager, and of course we had the old guard, and I think there might have been one other person. I'm trying to remember for sure, but and well, we gotta figure Andrew's gone, and sadly Pete as well in that. I was always of the impression the way that Audrey handcuffed herself to a pretty good place. Otherwise, she probably would have been toast and all that. But
Yeah, that's the thing, Pete. We find out. Well, I mean, yeah, you can extrapolate that. Yeah, Pete was killed in the explosion, but
Unless he was near the gate by Audrey.
no,
That-
he did. He died.
was right next to Andrew.
But this, I guess, this is a spoiler for those of you that haven't yet read The Secret History of Twin Peaks. In his death, he is very likely the one responsible for Audrey surviving, because after he died in the explosion, his body was found on top of the injured Audrey. He apparently was either attempting to shield her, or just by chance his body was launched onto her, but I doubt that. I think he was trying to protect her.
Pete went out like a boss.
Yes,
Good for
he
him.
did.
I still don't like that Chad character.
Well,
No Chad
you're
this week.
you're not going to. Yeah, no Chad this week. You need a break from Chad. Chad is.
He's a bit much.
Yeah, you can only take him in small doses. But you're
And we'll
absolutely
look forward-
welcome, Curtis and Connie. Thank you guys so much. You guys are encouraging.
This broadcast looks forward to killing Chad very soon now.
Laura is dead. Yes, she is. Now, whether she stays dead, that remains to be seen.
Show's weird.
Yes. Yeah, literally the very first episode of Twin Peaks starts with finding Laura's dead body. So...
Stay dead.
Yeah. I think at this point Laura would want to stay dead too. But we'll talk about that more as we get to the end of the season. Yeah, that's all I got, I think.
Yeah, and I think I am out of ideas for this show. Unless Boomer and Netter have anything else they want to...
No, I already put in my 2 cents.
All right. You don't need LSD when you have Twin Peaks. You could hire Ike the Spike to deal with Chad. You know?
Yeah, right?
Also, who knows? Maybe he will. Ultimate Buddhism be to leave the situation.
I suppose.
Huh.
All right. Well, we will go one time around the horn, so to speak. Pardon the pun. What do you have coming up, sir?
I'm going to be on the Friday night last call with Troy Pacelli. We're going to be talking about rose-colored glasses and how they... the things we thought were neat as a child, which may not be as so neat now. Or something along those lines. I don't know. And then Sunday, Geeky Geezers, where we'll be talking about a certain creator of Borderlands and a certain creator of Titanic, who, because he invented the Titanic, James Cameron, and, their comments recently.
Yes, he did. He created it and built it and sank it so that he can make a movie about it. And how do you know? You weren't there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Netter.
Okay, let's see. Next coming up would be Thursday. For Thursday Things, my special guest will be Enigma Severus. They're looking forward to having him on because he is an enigma. We want to unravel that mystery. And Saturday is me. So Saturday over on Retro Cinema, also on my channel, we'll be watching Dreamscape. So that will be interesting because we've had a dream, what do you call it? We've been doing a lot of dream things lately.
Dreamscape from...
Right, but what is it? A theme. We've been having a dream theme lately.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the name of the movie.
No, Dreamscape is what it's called because we've had a dream theme lately.
Yes, we have.
So that's what's coming out. Of course, I'm also guesting on Friday Night Last Call and all that. I'm everywhere too. Oh, and I almost forgot. Also on Thursday, there'll be 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and I'm not sure of other times. Over on Maria with Tiantelli, we will be with Kanan and Pasha talking about Marilyn Monroe Part 2.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. So again, that's 5 p.m. Central on Thursday. So and it's 4 p.m. Mountain. So I guess that makes it 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, you're going to want to check that out because Cameron has some really great material on Marilyn Monroe. And part 1 was fascinating. So we had to come back for part 2.
Okay.
And if you don't agree with anything he says, how do you know? Did you know Marilyn Monroe? Did you ever meet her? Did you? Sorry. I'm really, really bitter about what's his name?
That's all right. We have Gladiator 2 coming out that was picked apart by the Metatron. Remember that?
That's awesome. I won't be watching that either.
Yeah, that's a good video if you want to watch him tell about the trailer. He didn't like the fact the guy was riding on the rhinoceros into the... That did not happen. That's World of Warcraft. What are you doing? It's like, yes.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Metatron is a gamer, too, so he's like...
Well, the funny thing is, he's like looking at some of the things that's getting right, and he's saying, oh, yeah, those are the 2 Roman emperors, the 2 emperors.
Yeah.
And but the older brother. But then he thinks, wait a minute, did they mess up and put the wrong name on the wrong emperor because he's confused by the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the funniest one of his is it's still my favorite, where he's like, the Italian language. You got those YouTubers out there who have no idea how to pronounce Italian words. Lamborghini.
Lamborghini. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Fettuccine. I laughed so hard when I saw that video.
He's like, Italians don't talk like that.
Jared Leto begs to differ. I learned that from Ridley Scott's House of Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Ridley Scott, the gift that keeps on
Ridley
giving.
Scott. How do you know? Are you Italian? Do you speak Italian?
I
Well,
speak
frankly-
Italian food.
Well, yeah.
Now I'm starting to wonder how historically accurate House of Gucci was to what the actual events.
I
Don't
don't
know.
know.
Is
I
that
wasn't
recent
there.
history? Okay, anyway. All right.
So, Troy, what do you have coming up?
Basically what everybody else said. I'll be on Thursday Things with Netter. I'll be on the Friday thing that Agent Boomer mentioned. I'll be on the movie that Netter mentioned on Saturday, and I'll be on Geeky Geezers on Sunday.
And right back here again on Tuesday for another episode of Twin Peaks.
Exactly. But at least I can tell you that on Monday, I keep forgetting. I better get a note out to my special guest, or I won't have a special guest. The current plan is to pull in Sir Torrin Clegane for a producer's double feature on Monday night. Last call Monday night at the movies. So both versions of the producer, the Zero Mostel, Gene Wilder version, and the Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick version. So that'll be Monday, 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
All right. Well, that brings things on over to me. I will be joining Outlaw Bill for Action Theater, and this week we're going to be showing Red 2 from 2013 with Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Midnight Edge's own Dame Helen Mirren, and Anthony Hopkins. Also, let's see, Friday at 8 p.m. I am going to be joining Big Al Presents for Films with Friends, and we are going to be watching Underwater from 2020. We're going to be continuing our aquatic beastie.
How are you going to breathe if you're
motif.
underwater?
Yeah. You'll have to see. Then, let's see. Unscripted at 8. Oh, I also have, after Thursday Things, the weekend update. That'll be at 11:30. Unscripted at 8 o'clock Sunday. The Other Side of Midnight, Monday at 12:05 a.m. Guest to be determined. And before that, for Western Cinema Presents, Sunday at 4 p.m., Outlaw Bill and I will be watching The Dead Don't Hurt, starring and directed by Viggo Mortensen from earlier this year. So we're giving you a brand spanking new movie. And that's what I got.
Okay.
All right.
Because you can
So-
see, people, we are very busy, and we
Yeah.
want you to join us on all of these adventures we are having,
Yeah.
because it's more fun with you.
All right. Any last words before we wrap up the program?
Nope.
Just want to thank everybody for joining us. Regardless of which stream you are on, we appreciate you. It's great sharing this love of ours, this love of Twin Peaks that we've had, sharing it with all of you, and getting your perspective, and just kind of keeping alive something that we really enjoyed, something that thus far has not been destroyed by the powers that be in the entertainment industry, and I'm guessing it probably won't be.
Nate asking which version do you prefer?
Version
I
of
believe he means producers.
I will not be able to answer that until Monday, because I have never seen the newer one, the Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick version. So this will be my first time. Then I can tell you.
I can speak for my dad, my late father, who was a big fan of the original movie and was skeptical about this musical remake that they were doing, and he ended up loving it. So I'll say that. He did like it a lot.
Yeah.
I've not seen it myself, though.
I did listen to the soundtrack from the newer version, and I got to tell you, I love Nathan Lane's performance of Till Him. Right. That is a great song. To this day, Netter and I will sometimes look at each other and go, "Don't help me."
Yes.
Cool.
All right. I would like to thank everyone who joined us on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. And, of course, everybody who joined us live in the chat. Curtis, Tim, Lady Mist, JPRPH1, Big Al Presents, Connie Cleary, scrolling through. I do not want to forget anyone. Mark Mounikoff, Nate, Rancor Steve, This is When I Wish I Had Martin, David Working, Maria with Tiantelli, and I think that was everyone who was in the chat live. Yes. And of course, we can't leave without Netter's last words.
Y'all know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat, and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you guys, you know you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. And you could be anywhere right now, and you're here with us. That's so encouraging. I love seeing you guys in each of our streams. Every time one of you comes in, I have to smile because it's like, my family's here. So I really do love seeing all you guys in our streams. It's just encouraging. And there are days where it's like, I've just had like one of those days, but then I come onto a stream and I see you guys and it just makes me smile. It makes my whole day so much better. So thank you so much for being a part of our family, for encouraging us all so much, not just on the panel, but one another in the chat. And until next time, good night and God bless.
All right. And I would like to say hello to someone who is joining us late. Greetings and welcome to Lark Bark. Damn, I missed this. Hello, David Lynch. I'm a fan of your work. Keep up the good work. Sadly, I am not the actual David Lynch. But damn, that would be really cool if we could get him on the show.
Right.
Yeah, just so you know, for future, we start this 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, every Tuesday. But you can always watch these on the rewind. So you can go back onto Deleted's channel and or really any of ours, because I think we all simulcast. So meet Troy, Boomer, or Deleted, and watch all the previous episodes.
And
It's
we're
a
here
lot of
every Tuesday at 7:30 Central.
I just said that.
Yeah, just I'm repeating. When you repeat, people remember better.
Yes. Yeah, we'd love to have you live instead of Memorex.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm trying something. Okay. There you go. The link I am dropping in the chat is for our friend 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser.
Oops.
He is in the middle of his Toxic Tuesday program, and this week's movie is The Magnificent Seven.
Ooh.
All right. So the 1960 Magnificent Sevens with Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen. So head on over there and tell him that we sent you. I would like to once again thank everyone who joined us live, everyone who watches the replay, and we will return next week for part 8 from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Night, take care, stay strong, be safe, because this is how we win.
Future war is past.
Hallo, hier ist Klurfeld.
Ha 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 ha!